So welcome to Midwife Monday. Thanks for joining us. We have the lovely Mary Tan here, who has had a baby with us before. And we have two cameras going, so I'm going to be primarily looking at this one. And anyway, so Mary is here, and she's written a book. She's on fire, you guys.
Thank you.
On fire. Super dynamic. Your partner is really dynamic. Together as a family, very, very dynamic. Really motivated and really inspirational, I have to say. Like really, really, truly on fire and inspiration. The way that you work with your partner is really inspiring. The way you're raising your girls is really inspiring. So Mary's here. She's going to share a little bit about her birth story and also about her new book that she has. And first birth was in a hospital.
Yeah.
Second birth was out of hospital.
With you.
With me, here at the Birth Center.
At the SCV Birth Center.
So let's start with, where do you want to start?
Well, the birth story.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was amazing. I mean, the first one was in the hospital. My dream was always to be in a birth center at home, actually. Mm-hmm. Well, things just turn out the way they do, and you just have to roll with life, right?
Absolutely.
And it's all about mindset and being able to just like, this is how it is. Let's just make it work.
Right.
And so I made it work, and it was fabulous.
What made you do a hospital birth the first time if you thought home birth was the way you wanted to go?
It was insurance. It was merely about the finances. And the second time around, money was not an issue.
And that's a great, so interesting point. Was it much more expensive the second time around, having an out-of-hospital birth?
Actually, not really.
Right.
It's mindset.
Right.
It's mindset.
It's really, when you have insurance, you pay on the back end of the birth. You get billed after the baby is born. When you pay for an out-of-hospital birth, you make a deposit at the beginning, and you get a reimbursement possibly at the end of the day.
Let me tell you what the big difference is that the level of care is absolutely incomparable. Now, I had an excellent experience in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I was blessed. I prayed to my angels in the heavens above, and I was definitely blessed. I got what I wanted. Mm-hmm. But then going with Renee with a birth at the birth center, the level of care is completely different. It's so connected. It's so about the mom's experience and honoring the child and the mom and the husband and the family. And if there's other older children, honoring them as well. Mm-hmm. It's just so present and so blissful. It's so the way it's supposed to be and the way it used to be.
Yes.
And so we're bringing it back.
Yes.
And, gotta bring it back.
We're bringing it back.
Yeah, and not just that, the aftercare.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're such a busy woman. You have so many people that you're birthing, and still you are able, in your business, to find the time to go visit new moms at home.
It's what's really critical in this postpartum recovery time. Someone sent me an article the other day, and it was about this woman. It was a tragic story about a woman who had a baby in hospital, and they were baby friendly, and they insisted on breastfeeding at all costs. And tragic event that this baby died, right, is the short end of the story. There was a hospital birth, she was discharged, the baby wasn't eating, baby died, and in this particular article, they blamed it on breastfeeding. And when I read this article, I was like, this is not a breastfeeding issue. This was poor care. Mm-hmm. No one followed this mother in the postpartum period. Nobody followed the mother and the baby closely. Nobody went to go see that baby at 36 hours after birth or 48. Or we're seeing so many women right now that are having breastfeeding problems every 2 days and keeping an eye on these babies. And we know the mothers so intimately during the prenatal care.
Yes.
We listen. And so it was really a tragic story. And unfortunately, there was such a bias in this particular article about shame on those breastfeeding women, insisting on that. It was like, no, shame on our healthcare system for not listening to the mother and paying attention to what we call the dyad, the mom and baby. It's really critical.
What's really, really great, and I have not connected this dot until right now when we're talking, that the reason why I'm going to own the fact that, yes, I do feel that I'm super on fire. I'm really, my whole life, all that I've been working for is for this moment, and this is just the beginning of me living my full purpose and service to the world. But you had a big part of this, and I didn't connect that dot until right now. It's just that postpartum you gave me directives. You said, Mary, I know you're a type A personality and you're just going to want to like take the baby home and go back to, hitting the ground running.
Right.
And you gave me very strict orders. I want you to be in bed. There was nothing wrong with me because it was great, excellent, beautiful birth. And so I could have hit the ground running, but she's like, you know what? If you want to fully recover to the point of you being able to really hit the ground running fully and not be depleted.
Take this time right now.
Yep.
Because,
And
you
I
can't
followed.
tell just by her energy, like, seeping through the phone right now. Like, you would have gone home and you would have been, like, on your to-do list and getting stuff done. And then that's fine. But what happens in that, if you do it too quickly, you crash. And you don't actually fully recover. And then when you're at the 6-week, 8-week, 10-week mark, and you hit the wall, and suddenly you're having some postpartum depression, you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But you take direction really well. Being even an A-type personality and a driver, you're definitely a driver.
Well, a good leader is a good follower and vice versa. So,
yeah.
And that was just like, I needed someone to be like, this is what you need to do, but you spoke to me in a way that I understood.
Right.
You spoke to me like, if you really want to be that person that's going to hit the ground running with full force, you've got to take this period. Right. I think it was like a month.
Yeah.
A month was like such a long time for me to stay in bed. And my husband is amazing.
And he was great.
I never left the bed.
And so that's the difference with this continuity of care when you're doing care with an out-of-hospital midwife versus an in-hospital care. You had a positive experience the first time. It's not that no one is out there to sabotage your birth. Nobody is trying to ruin you, or no one is intentionally trying to surgically remove your baby just because they have a golf game. I mean, really, truly, maybe there's somebody out there doing that, but pretty much everybody, I believe that everyone really has a laboring mother's best intention, no matter where you're having your baby. But there's that knowing of the person.
Right.
So for you, we needed to say, look, you need to stop and do these things. For somebody else, I have someone now who, she's an athlete, and day 3, I'm like, I get that you might have to go out for a run, and that's okay. Sounds terrible to me. I would never want to go for a run 3 days postpartum. But for this mother, that's what she needs in order for her to recover.
Right.
So that's the benefit of doing midwifery care.
Absolutely.
Is that real understanding of each other.
A real deep connection, deep relationship of knowing the person, knowing what they need is totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hospital birth, positive. Second time, cost maybe was a little bit different. Didn't feel as restricted cost-wise. There was a little bit more of a known.
The value though goes way beyond the cost. The cost seems minuscule compared to the value that I didn't even realize what I was really going to get.
Yeah. And then, so you did all your prenatal care with us. Your daughter was involved in the care.
Yeah,
she
my
comes
older
all
daughter.
The visits. Yeah. And then, so let's talk about your birth. Anything you would have done differently? Anything that you, I don't know.
No, absolutely not. If I could have had it at home, that would have been it. I would have liked to have been at home, but
the next one.
Only if the universe absolutely insists. But I've got several businesses running right now. I think I'm good.
So let's talk about some of your businesses. So now you have 2 children, and they're how old?
They're 2 and 5.
2 and 5.
Yeah.
Most of us still haven't brushed our teeth with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old on a regular basis, nor showered on a regular basis, nor look as fantastic and together as Miss Mary does. And
that's the whole point, really. That's the whole point. Like, one of the messages is that for the mom to really show up and the book is called The Empowered Child, and it's all about raising conscious, confident, and connected children. Yeah. And in order for the mom, all moms want that for their kids, to be successful and healthy and live their full life, fulfilling their life purpose.
Yes.
But in order for the mom to do that, she really needs to also have and embody the empowerment tools. And so I'm basically I got the book, and I have a coaching program that I hold your hand through, step by step, super easy, of how to embody these empowerment tools. Because once you embody them, it's like a tuning fork. The first tuning fork, if you introduce the second tuning fork, will automatically attune to the first tuning fork. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So every mom needs to realize that she needs to be the alpha female consciously choose to be the alpha female in her family unit and be that tuning fork by doing the empowerment tools, so that she can affect everyone in her household, not just her child, but her whole entire family.
Right. But your husband is alpha male.
He is alpha male. And so we've got this divine masculine and the divine feminine living together, and that's what sacred relationships are all about. Stay tuned for a few years later. He and I are planning to share a stage together talking about divine relationships.
Yeah.
Because for you to really create the vision of what it is you want to do in this world and make a difference, that's a powerful combination.
Yeah, it really
you don't
is.
want your spouse to be sabotaging your success. You want
And
him
you
or
also
her.
don't want to be emasculating your partner.
You don't want to be
Which, by
emasculating your
saying,
partner.
just to be clear, like by saying that you're an alpha female doesn't mean you supersede your husband's strengths,
Right.
your partner's strengths. You really are quite a dynamic team.
I'm so glad you're bringing up
Yeah.
that clarification, because people could very easily think that, because words, everyone has their own connotation and meaning behind words.
Right.
And the way I'm using it, thank you for clarifying that, is that we are two oak trees. He does not complete me, and I do not complete him. We are both fully complete and whole and healthy and happy and in charge of our own mind, body, spirit wholeness on our own.
Yeah.
And then when you come together and your branches overlap, and then you go into the world leading the people to greater heights together, I mean, that's powerful. And so that's a scarcity mentality if you think that an alpha female will emasculate the,
Right.
the masculine, because it doesn't have to be that way. So
Right.
I'm so glad
Awesome.
you clarified that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
great. So the book, you're also doing a series of classes, is that right? Are you
Yeah, I'm going to
doing
be
some?
teaching a workshop, my first one here at the Birth Center.
Nice. When is it?
It's on March 3rd from 11 to 1. And if
Is that a Saturday or a Sunday?
it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday.
Great.
It's called the Empowered Child Workshop.
And who's it for?
It's for moms. It's for moms who want to feel more confident dealing with their child that 1 minute is probably really strong-willed and you just want to rip your hair out. That's already turning gray because you're stressed out.
Embrace the gray, by the way. Not that my children stress me out or anything.
You
like
look
that.
gorgeous. It works for you.
I looked a little bit like, I'm going to date myself, Grandpa from the Munsters this weekend. I was hiking and I had my wool, like I wear this little beanie when I'm hiking, so it's a gray beanie, and all you could see were like my gray tufts sticking out of the side of my hat, and I looked like Grandpa from the Munsters. But that's okay.
I'm sure you owned it.
I did.
If you own it, you're hot. You know what I'm saying?
That's all right.
Right. If you own it, it's the energy that you're exuding.
But then I got a glimpse of myself in here, and I was slightly embarrassed and a little bit frightened. I was like, wow, I look like I'm 90. But besides that,
Hilarious.
so yes, our
Hilarious.
kids make us gray, and they stress
And then,
us out.
well, also, like, the same one or a different one would be, like, so hypersensitive where the smallest thing could make them have an emotional breakdown. And so the program and the book is all about teaching the mom how to feel confident coaching your child through those moments.
So the age of these children, of the mothers with children, in what age group are we
I'd say 4,
targeting?
5, 6.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6. The workshops are good for moms, if not for the kids, unless they're babes in arms.
Yeah.
Because you'll be distracted with all the information that I'll be sharing.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And so really helping moms find their own alpha female, huh?
Yeah, how to take their power back while letting everybody feel good about themselves.
Yeah, which is hard to do,
Yeah.
right? We're taking care of so many people in our daily lives, and we have children, that we're the last ones to be filled, right?
That's such a big
And
point.
so then how do we continue to fill up our kids and guide them when we're totally fried and shot and have no coping skills, right?
Yeah.
And you can't be dynamic in that situation.
Totally.
You're just reactive.
Absolutely.
You wind up just every day, you're just kind of reacting to what's going on without building. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the frustration builds, and it's just a cyclical nightmare. It just spirals down.
Right.
We want you to spiral up, little baby steps, and it's not that hard.
Right.
You just need
What
someone to show
made you go into this area? What brought you to writing this book?
Having 2 little girls. I've spent over 10 years. I had my own spiritual awakening in 2006, and it was intense.
Yeah.
It was like insanity. I cried for a whole year every single day.
Did you do like Tony Robbins, or did you do something like that?
After that,
triggered-
no. That's a third book that I'll be writing that details all of everything.
I just can't even, I can barely write a paragraph. I have like writing phobia that I can't even imagine like thinking about a first book, no less a third book.
I have an incredible book coach I can hook you up with if the day comes.
Just the thought of it actually makes me have like heart palpitations. But okay.
But yeah, it's and that is a gift in itself, because it caused me, it's so dire, right? Crying literally for a whole entire year, where I think I'm going insane. Like, I'm scared for my mental health.
Wow.
So made me go on a frantic search of trying everything that possibly could help.
Right.
Because I'm type A and problem solver. How do I solve this? I don't know what's wrong. I can't solve it.
Right.
Right? So it's freaking scary.
Yeah.
So, but the gift is, at the end of that year-long journey, I have a huge toolbox that's constantly growing, because once you grow, you can't shrink back. You can't tell the butterfly to go back into a caterpillar. And then you're hooked, because you're like, wow, there's so much I don't know. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm never going to stop.
And you see also from that really difficult place in 2006, you got through it. So you see it, the outcome of like, wow, this journey through this really difficult time, I grew so much, I learned so much to get to where you are today.
Yeah, and so many parts of me died. So many parts of us have to die if we want to grow from where we are to where we want to be.
Growth is scary.
It's uncomfortable. It's scary. It's change. It's a hard thing for people.
And we sometimes, it's just really safe to stay where we are, do what we know, do what our mothers did, what our sisters did, what our aunties did. You stay sort of in the same lot, and it's scary to change. And not everyone around you embraces your change either. And especially as mothers, who were your role models as a mother, right? Do you suddenly do things different? And that comes up a lot in out-of-hospital birth, where family members are really resistant to us birthing differently than they did. Breastfeeding, and maybe they didn't breastfeed, and why are you doing it different? Everything was fine. Like, look at you, you're fine, and I didn't breastfeed you, right? There's a lot of this insistence that we don't change, and I see it a lot in the pregnant person of being like fearful to change because they don't want to disrupt the wagon. They don't want to upset their family members. Absolutely. They don't want them to feel bad or have them think that we feel that we are better than them, which in the out-of-hospital world, this comes up a lot. It's like, oh, well, so you think you can do it differently than I did it? As out-of-hospital birthers, we're not really judging how anyone is birthing their babies nor how they're parenting their babies, right? We all just want to do the best that we can do for our families. Yes. And so it's hard to rock the boat and change. So you've found a way from 2006 to 2018, a long time, on how to break the patterns and change.
Yes, and what you're bringing up, that concern, is the same concern that I address, because whether it's education or, the way you want to eat, the way you want to dress, the things that you think about, everybody wants to control that, because you're reflecting. If you're not doing what they're doing, the way it's always been done, you're reflecting to them. They're thinking that I'm not good enough.
Right.
That deep-seated thing that most humans have to deal with, but they're too afraid to face. Got to hire a coach like me. I'll help you. And
it's a very, very big issue.
It is. It's a very common theme that humans have to overcome, to really live the life they want, instead of noticing how they really want to be, but then pulling back because they don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah.
And is that authentic? Is that powerful? Are you truly living a happy life? Are you being in tune with your inner self and saying, I'm honoring myself? No. And there's always a piece of it that's always going to be nagging you. And then that discomfort, that unhappiness will come through physiological illnesses, emotional disturbances, right? And relationship issues, because you're not living your authentic self.
Yeah. Awesome. So the name of the book again is?
It's The Empowered Child. And by the way, if I may offer to your audience and my audience, if you'd like a free copy of this book, send me an email. Take your phone out, take a note or pen and paper.
And we can
it's here, Mary.
Do something on the bottom of this podcast here, or Facebook Live, saying maybe put your email address on there.
Yeah. Email me, shoot me a message at mary@mary-tan.com and let me know.
We'll check it out.
Let me know that you want to get a free copy of my book.
Awesome.
And I have a lot of workshops and events coming up.
And we have this one class coming up here on March 3rd. March 3rd. So you might want to check that out as well. It's a free class that you're offering to talk about some of these concepts.
Yeah, totally.
Which is really, really awesome.
It is awesome. So, thank you for hosting me.
I'm so glad that you came. Truly an inspiring woman.
Thank you. Likewise. Likewise.
Thanks.
Just trying to catch up to you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
And we'll see you soon.